But when it comes to crazy comments, oh my God, don't even get me started. Make it crazy.
Crazy. Welcome everyone to the Augustine Strings Wind Up. This is a program where I interview guitarists that live in New York City or are passing by New York City. And we're very happy to have with us here Amanda Kaya. Did I pronounce it right?
Yes.
Good. She's a guitarist, Instagrammer, and many other things that you will find out later today. My name is Edu Guterres. I'm a classical guitarist from Brazil. I'm also an Augustine Strings artist, and I'm very happy to be the host for the Augustine Strings Wind Up series. So just to give Amanda and our viewers a rundown of what will happen today. For each string that you change, there will be a different topic. So for the first string, E string, we're going to talk about an entree, just an introduction. How do you change strings or something else which we actually don't know yet. The second string, B string, we're going to talk about beginnings, your beginnings with music, the instrument. The third string, we're going to talk about guitar, G string or gear. The fourth string, we're going to talk about dreams, D string. The fifth string, A string, we actually ask artificial intelligence to come up with some questions. And then the sixth string, it's also an E string. My name is Edu. So this is the string where I can ask whatever I want. Good?
It sounds good.
Before we start, Amanda is a guitarist, Instagrammer. Also, you have a minor in philosophy and major in anthropology.
Yes.
So this will be a very philosophical conversation.
Oh no.
Right? We're going to talk about the meaning of life and everything. Amanda, welcome.
Thank
you
so
for
much.
being here.
Thanks so much for having me. It's really great to be here.
Good. Since I mentioned, can you briefly talk about your major and minor in anthropology and philosophy, because I really want to know. And we can actually start changing the strings. Maybe.
Yeah. Why I chose anthropology. I was a viola major from 6th grade until my sophomore, junior-ish year of college, which is a long time.
Yeah.
And so when I transferred, it was just too much time, and so I needed to graduate. And I met my husband, Giulia, Kaya, and he
also guitarist.
Also a guitarist. He was at UT, and so I transferred, and I needed to graduate fast, and so yeah, I just kind of threw a dart at the board, and I said anthropology, and they were like, "You need a minor with this," and I said philosophy. I thought those were cool. I always wanted to study those, and so yeah, I did that, and I kind of not specialized, but focused on cultural anthropology. Oh. And because he's, Turkish, I thought it would be so cool to, study not just philosophy, because, Turkey and Greece, they're so close together, that's like the land of philosophy, but also study Central Asia. And they had some classes on Central Asia at UT, and I really wanted to learn more about that kind of culture and history. And so I ended up learning so much about that. And I'm so glad that I chose it, because I feel like I was a musician, and I always will be a musician, professional, and whatnot. I feel like I did my time, I just decided to do something else. And cool. Musicians shouldn't, limit themselves to just music. Anthropology, it's like music history, ethnomusicology, it's all really related, so.
Nice. Okay, we may talk about this again in this interview. But now let's go back to the guitar.
Yes, guitar.
I see here you're using Augustine Regal Blue. Is there, you told me this before, but I want you to tell everyone about your place.
Why I chose these?
Yeah.
So I have two answers for that. First, I chose it because it was pink. I'm just kidding, no, I didn't do that. My husband helped me pick them out, but we're a high tension family. We only put on high tensions in this family, the Kaya family. They do sound really good, obviously, on this guitar, and they are pink. And yeah, high tension. I don't know. I like them.
Getting to the second string, the B string, we're gonna talk about beginnings. So talking about your childhood, I want to know. I know on Instagram you play a lot of video games and movie soundtracks. So I want to know you as a child, music and video games. How was it?
Growing up, I told you my earliest memory was just my father and my brother and I playing video games. And luckily it was The Legend of Zelda, which is very well known for its symphonic works. I don't know, I like the symphonic music. It's just so beautiful, and I always wanted to play it.
Oh.
And of course, as a viola player, I can't do it by myself. Yeah. So playing it on the guitar really kind of feeds that.
And do you remember, like, since very young, getting very into the soundtrack while they were playing? You were like, oh, this is so cool.
It's so beautiful. Yeah, it's like music, incredibly music-based. So if you think about the Zelda games, the first one is based on little tunes from an ocarina.
Yeah.
And so it's based on music, and they really took that seriously. And I really think that a lot of people have that connection with the symphonic music. And today, I mean, in Japan, it's more common. We're just now getting to it, and I feel like before people were like, oh, well, you know, it's video game music. And I really think, especially even film music especially, last night I just heard John Williams, a trumpet piece by John Williams, the composer.
Good.
The composer. And from a movie that he scored called Lincoln. And people are playing these in, how do you say, they're playing them in theaters now. So, or in recital halls and stuff. So it doesn't seem like too out of place to say that these are going to be recital pieces, you know? I think that they could be they could do very well in a concert setting.
Now, using this to make the connection with the guitar, I know you record now for Instagram and TikTok mainly pieces from soundtrack and video game soundtracks. But tell me, how did you start playing the guitar? You told me about the viola.
Yes. So I played guitar. I started taking lessons. I went to a high school, middle school that had guitar as a elective. So you can major in guitar at my school. So I took like electives just for fun. I just wanted. My mom was like, "You should play Smoke on the Water," and I was like, "You should, okay." And she was like, "You should be in a band," and I was like, "Okay."
Did you?
No, I was too busy playing viola. I didn't have time, and so I learned basic chords, and so I didn't do anything crazy. But I really started playing in college. I think I was.
Was it electric or acoustic guitar?
Classical.
Oh, you started with classical.
Yeah, they teach classical, and I don't remember any of it, but I knew chords and whatnot. And I didn't really get into it until college, and then I really got into it when I met him, because I was just, you know, I wasn't really playing. I think I was using it as an escape to get away from viola, because it had run its course in my life. And so when I met him, he taught me everything. You know, my husband, Giulia, he taught me everything I know from the very beginning, from the ground up. He taught me how to play.
What is the very beginning? Like exercises, technical
exercises.
So
he gave me all the exercises. He started me with his book that his teacher started him on. And I actually studied a little bit with his teacher in Turkey. So I used the method book that he used growing up, and
And how old were you when you started doing like this classical guitar technique exercises?
I was probably like 22, 23 years old.
Nice.
So I would say later.
And you had the viola background.
I had
practicing and.
Yeah. People always ask me this question. They're always like, what's harder, the viola or the guitar? And I will every single time say the guitar. It is a nightmare to play. Obviously, when you're nervous, like it's a minefield. And I you can add this if you want, but I always say this. Paganini, the best violin player we know of, was a guitar player. And he said, "The violin is my mistress, the guitar is my master." So I'll let you have Paganini tell you what's
the thumbnail.
Yeah, Paganini said it was harder himself, and he played violin like hard. You know, he played. I mean, maybe that's why the violin was so easy for him.
I have one last question about the beginnings. And how did you start your Instagram page? You told me you were just recording guitar videos, and then you decided to.
In COVID, there was this job that came about. They offered it to my husband, but he recorded some master classes with them. They wanted him to teach for live stream, because this is when everyone was shut down in 2020. But he just didn't have the time to stream that, you know, like every day. And so he had me do it, and I used that to, you know, help push myself as a guitar player. And I really wanted to be a better guitarist. And so I forced myself to practice and post these videos to push myself and to kind of reflect my work. And then eventually I was like, if I grow enough, they'll come to my streams. But I ended up posting a video after we moved here. I just made one video. I played El Vito, and my page just blew up. And it just happened kind of like that overnight. And so that page really brought me, I think I ended up getting 20,000 followers in like a couple of weeks. And so just from that alone, and then I just kept posting, and they kept coming. And then eventually I decided, you know what, like I should do what I want to do. I don't want to play classical guitar music, even though I love it. I just wanted to make this more something that I love to do, which is play music that I really enjoy, which is like classical, like video game music or, film music. And so, yeah, that's how my page came to be. And I just kept doing that, and it just kept coming. So I just keep doing it. It's fun for me. Great. It really is fun. And that's what I want people to do. I want them to have fun as well. I want them to enjoy. I want them to feel like they can play this music as well.
Let's move on to the third string. Normally we talk about guitar only, but because you work a lot with recording. Yes. Can I talk about your gear, guitar, and also how do you record your videos? Your home studio.
My home studio.
First, can you tell us about this guitar that you brought today?
I will. So this is a Martinez, I think 130C, and I don't know if they make this guitar anymore. I don't know if this model is still being made, which is really unfortunate because this guitar is a great...
It sounds great.
It's a great guitar for what it's worth. And we found it in Turkey. My husband's teacher was like, hey, we have these really great guitars that you should get. And we found the last one, and we got it. So I was able to take it home.
You mentioned earlier that you're editing an album, right?
Yes, yes.
But before we get to this album, you learned from this person, right, that recorded the album, or that's not true?
Norbert Kraft. Norbert Kraft.
Can you tell us who Norbert Kraft is?
Norbert Kraft is a legend. He is a legendary recording producer for Naxos, and he's also an amazing player. He taught at the Royal Conservatory, and he lives in Canada. But he's been recording with Naxos for a long time, and I'm lucky enough to be able to have, I don't work with him, but I was able to edit videos under his supervision, edit music under his supervision, and record under his supervision. And I recorded for Hal Leonard, Giulia playing for Hal Leonard. I recorded that CD and edited it, and I'll be doing that for Giulia's own compositions in the coming months. So I'll be editing that as well.
How many mics do you use to record like a video for Instagram?
For me, I just use one.
Just one.
Just one. So I use only one, but for him, it's different. They use two. But for a general video, I don't want to go too high definite. It's not worth the time because the phones don't really have that unless you're listening with headphones or something. But for something that's more high quality, you have to have better mics. You have to have, if you want to do a CD, I think Naxos has like a really high quality recording, or at least Norbert does. I know they have different people recording for Naxos, but
I consider myself, I don't know anything about these technologies of recording, and I think it's pretty important. Not everybody's going to be a performer, so it's good to know these things, especially for yourself, even if you are a performer. So, yeah. And sometimes just the phone, microphone, it's not the same when you compare both. Like the quality of the sound,
not even,
it's so much more clear. I want to ask Dreams about everything you do. I know you do a lot, many things. Do you have a dream as a performer? Like something that you really want to do as an artist on stage, or?
I think maybe live performing is not exactly what I want. I want to create music. I want to create good music to maybe record. My dream would be to record an album.
Not recording a soundtrack for a studio.
That would be amazing. That would be amazing. That would be a great dream, actually. Maybe I don't shoot far enough for myself, But that would be a dream of mine. I would love to do that. Record like a soundtrack, or something like that. That would be actually really amazing.
Let's just make we were talking about this studio Ghibli or Ghibli.
Yes.
Just to explain, this is it a company?
It's an animation studio.
Yeah, but Miyazaki is the director mostly, right?
He's the artist and the film director, and Joe Hisaishi is the composer.
Yeah, and you have something to tell. Talking about dreams, it was a dream, right? The composer for most of the soundtracks.
He's the guy.
He shared one of your videos, right?
He did. So he did share one of my videos on his page. I played Howl's Moving Castle, Merry-Go-Round of Life, and I just did it for fun. I've always loved that soundtrack, and I played it. I had Giulia, I was like, hey, could you arrange this? And he was like, okay, whatever. And he like wrote it in like 5 minutes. And so I had him have do that, and then I just posted it, and it just went absolutely viral. I think a year later, people were starting to realize that people absolutely love his music, especially on social media, because he wasn't much of a presence there yet. And so people specifically were, listening to the Howl's Moving Castle. And it's funny because that soundtrack it's nothing to say that's bad about the music, but compared to his other scores, this one was very simple. It was it's mostly that song. Probably why people love it so much. But he was sharing a few other ones too, but I just woke up one morning and it was like Joe Hisaishi tagged you and shared in a video, and I was like, he tagged me in a video? I couldn't believe it. Because I've always idolized him as a composer. He's been someone I've absolutely adored as an artist since before I played guitar, and so it made my life. I was like, oh my God, I'm on his page, and I was there with a few other artists. One of them is a cellist who's at Juilliard right now. He's here, and he also played it, and it's just, kind of like I was starstruck because that's someone I really looked up to as a musician. So.
And one more question. I know you teach.
I do.
Do you have any aspirations as a teacher? Who do you like? Like, which age do you like teaching?
I mostly teach under 10. I want to teach kids to love music, and I want them to know that I want them to be human. I want them to be a little bit more of a human.
The anthropology part.
Yeah, I guess you can say that. But, I really do enjoy it. I know a lot of people really don't like teaching kids. They always say it's just like hard, but you get used to it. After so many, you just understand them.
Fifth string, AI. What I did was I wrote your bio on AI, your bio, and I said, can you formulate like 3 nice questions? So with such a diverse musical background between piano, viola, and guitar, do you have a favorite instrument to play? It has to be guitar today.
It's guitar. You don't have to convince me.
Picking favorite child.
It's not guitar. It's easy.
Okay.
I mean, if I said viola, who likes the viola?
What do you like more about the guitar?
The repertoire. It's just absolutely amazing. I love all the music. It's so diverse for the most part. Like, it's incredibly diverse. You have, if you want Italian, classical music, you go play Giuliani. If you want, Spanish classical, Spanish Renaissance. I love Gaspar Sanz. Oh my gosh, I love that music. But for viola, it's like, we don't have that a lot of the time, and guitar has plenty of it.
Second question, by AI, by ChatGPT. You've had some incredible experience performing and studying with renowned musicians. What's one moment from your musical journey that still makes you grin from ear to ear every time you think about it?
A musical experience that makes me grin from ear to ear every time I think about it.
Yeah.
There's never going to be a time where I'll be able to play with my husband again, and we did play together at the place that we met. I played violin and he played guitar, and we played
Where was the place?
Round Top, Texas.
I'm very curious.
I get to work with him. Makes me grin every time. So, yeah.
What's the most unexpected piece you've ever busted out on the classical guitar? And did you get any surprising comments?
on the post that I played the Howl's Moving Castle, I got a comment from David Crosby, and he just said, "Beautifully done." I think it was one of all he said, and it was just, that would be one of the most amazing comments I ever got. I was just so beside myself because, of course, I live as an American, of him, but I never expected that. But when it comes to crazy comments, oh my God, don't even get me started. Make it crazy.
Crazy comments.
I mean,
yeah, I see you post sometimes on the stories about comments.
I get really, I don't have bad comments anymore. I used to. But since I've grown a really amazing community of people and followers, they are so nice, and I've made so many good friends. And those comments just kind of went away because most of my followers are now people that are in the audience that I want, and so I really, really do enjoy their.
I like this perspective actually, because many people are like, oh, Instagram, everybody can comment whatever they want. It is true.
It's true.
But it's also nice to think that way, that you can build like a community and people with the same interests.
It takes time and it takes a good focus, but once you find it, you will you'll get there. It just takes it takes a certain amount of catering. You have to cater to the right audience.
We can move to the 6th string.
Yes.
And now the question that I really wanted to ask: does Giulia plays with you and your family video game?
No. No.
Was that a red flag? No.
Actually, no.
We have to play video games.
I'll let him answer that one. If there ever is a chance that he's able to answer that, I'll let him answer that one. But yeah.
So no video games. Just arranging.
Yes.
All the songs.
Arranging.
Did it happen and he was like, oh no, this one?
There's
impossible.
Always, there are some that are going to be impossible because the guitar can play a lot of stuff. It is very versatile, I've realized, but you just have to have that kind of ingenuity in being able to compose, arrange and compose and do all that kind of stuff. And he's, of course, a master of that. And I think it's the difference between arranging the piece, the guitar to the piece, and versus arranging the piece to the guitar. So it's I think a lot of people try to arrange the piece and they don't think about the piece for the guitar.
What do you think is the most challenging part of arranging for guitar?
For me, I mean, I can ask my husband, obviously, but he always caters the piece to me and to my level and to how I play, and he's sensitive to that. But I think it's just being able to grab the essence of a piece, because you can, especially orchestral music, you can arrange it, note for note, but that's not what arranging is. Arranging is grabbing the essence of the piece and making it for the ensemble or instrument that you're writing it for. And if you can capture that essence, you really are an arranger. It's easy to just put notes in a quartet and say, I arranged this piece, but quartet has, all the intricacies of being a quartet, and you have to kind of play on those. And so I think that's where I think his arrangements shine.
Yeah, and you do many online collaborations too, right?
I do.
Divide.
Yeah, I do a lot of, I always say my page is for collaboration, and I've had some collaborations go absolutely haywire, and I sent you so yeah, those collaborations do, some of them go really weird and fun. It's always really fun. I always think it's fun. But I have all instruments collaborating. So I don't know if people are familiar with how TikTok and Instagram works, but you can duet videos and I do collaboration.
What is duet video?
So duet is you could take the original video and then it'll side by side it, and you can record yourself playing with it. And I've had a lot of duet videos do better than my own original video. So that's not uncommon. And so that's something I really like to do is when I make a collaboration. So sometimes I'll make accompaniments for other.
Without the melody.
Yeah, without the melody, but I do that with other people online. So I have a lot of people that I do collaborations with. One of them is Dulcimer Gumbo. He's one of my, we have more frequent collaborations. He plays the hammered dulcimer, and so when I
don't know what it is.
It's like a santur or kanun, but with hammers. It's like a long stringed instrument.
Oh,
yeah. And so he plays that, and the accompaniments that I have from that, I post by themselves so people can join and do what they want to do. And I've had some crazy, like the one that I sent you, people weren't even playing music with it. They were just duetting, creating the videoscape of the video game. And so the most popular one was a man pretending to be a windmill. And it was the only video he ever posted on TikTok. So I always like to encourage amateurs to play, because I'm learning and being a guitarist, and I want everyone to enjoy. Mm-hmm. And I think that's another part of my page that I really like is the collaboration, because I've had so many levels of instrumentalists add in. Like I've had the best of the best, and I've also had people who are posting their first video ever online, and they feel really encouraged too.
And I think this is very nice, like bringing new audiences to the classical guitar. This can be like a first contact for many people with the instrument. Like the guitar as a solo instrument, playing melody and accompaniment at the same time. There is a Brazilian guy, he's also an Augustine Strings artist. Do you know Fabio Lima? He does also video games, and I remember watching his videos when I was growing up.
There's a lot of the Super Guitar Bros. Do you know them?
Oh, I
Super Guitar Bros.
I don't know that well, but
have like completely beat me to the punchline. Like they always have been doing that for a long time. Those guys have been playing video game music on guitar, classical guitar, and for a very long time and doing arrangements. So nothing that I'm doing is new, I would say, but I would say that how I approach it may be a little bit different. Again, I'm not the only one doing this. I don't think I am, but again,
it's so nice, and the pieces are great.
Oh, thank you. So I like to, again, I'm doing this to have a lot of, just fun. It's for fun for me. And I want to create good music and repertoire. I mean, obviously, Giulia is doing that. But I want to, curate these. I'm like a curator. I would say a curator.
It looks like you have fun.
Yeah.
Do you have that place of your house set every time? You just sit and play? Or you guys have to, let's take the couch away and then... and unfortunately, I don't like to do that. It's a setup and a takedown every single time. I have to set up all the lights. I have to set up the mics. I have to, and with teaching kids from my home, I'm not going to have mics out for them to just play with or touch and whatnot. So I have to put those away, and then I have to take them out, and then I have to get the computer. And then we have a bird. We have a cockatiel, and she's very noisy. So recording is very difficult with a bird in the house. So it does take quite a lot of time, even if it's just a 15-second, 45-second video. All of that for me can take a while because I try to curate it to look nice and all that kind of stuff. But also I have to practice and play right. So that's another one. Nice.
But yeah.
I see you're finishing up there. Can you give any? That's the best part now. Can you give any advice? It can be related to music or even like choosing music as what you do because you did other things before, and also like being on the internet posting videos. Any advice to people?
I think the best advice I can give, and I give this, this is what I always want to say, is just be yourself. Be true to who you are, and just, again, be yourself. Like the TikTok, all these things, we're past this idea of these, unrelatable people that we can't reach. We can't be in touch with these people. They want relatability. I feel like people want to be in your world. They want to see who you really are. And so yeah, being yourself and being your best you will get you so far.
Now that we get to the last string, how hard was it to change strings and talking and being on an interview at the same time?
I was very nervous. But it's not so bad. It's not that bad. No, it's not that bad. But it's nervous. It's very I was very nervous at first, but actually it's not.
When we start and then you realize it's just a conversation.
It's just a conversation, and yeah.
Thank you everyone for watching again. Stay tuned for the next episodes and make sure to follow them on Instagram, TikTok, everything.
Follow Edu. Follow Edu.
And Augustine Strings.
And Augustine Strings.
Make sure to hit the subscribe button, like button, everything, and share to your friends, family, dog, birds, and join us again to the next episode.